Hello and welcome to Just Grasp One. This is, I believe this is actually Winner's Quarters? Yeah, this is Winner's Quarters. So this is Winner's Quarters we're in. We have PolterGhost versus Extra today. And we are going to be seeing them play here. Alright, let me just get the thing posted, and we are good to go. We're fully live now. Alright. PolterGhost, we saw a crazy good showing from them yesterday. Or the other day when they played. It wasn't exactly yesterday, but it was the other day. Or a few days ago, last week, something like that. And I saw Extra play, but I've only seen Extra play over recording. So I'm not exactly sure how or who's going to have the upper hand in this matchup, but I do have a pretty decent idea of, let's see if Polter will draft the pretty similar team from last time. Last time we did see a Chip come out, so I'm curious if we'll see something like that again, but we see the Ryu come out for Polter, so that means Extra is going to be without the Ryu, who they had selected last time. I think Extra is the one that did Ryu Ken and then someone else last time that we saw, or that I saw the recording from them. So we'll see who they pick here. I think I just saw Dan pick. Let's go. Chip and Dan. Alright, I don't know where Rose is, but Rose is going to get a kick out of this. Dan on the table. Dan number 2. Alright, we got this. Alright, now how Polter going to respond to this? Because we ended up with a pretty good character in Chip Zanoff. Dan is not a bad character. He's not a slouch. But he does kind of like have a meme behind him. Because he is more of that kind of wild swing character. But he's not a terrible character, you know. So he's a perfectly fine character. We are getting into that season 3 character territory though, where you might hear me stumble over myself a little bit more, because that is the season that I am not as familiar with. That in season 4. So we'll kind of see how on top of things I can be today. Did I just see a Lychee get picked? No, I think he's just thinking. Okay, what do we end up with here? I want to know what these 2 question marks are. May New. Alright, so we have Ryu May New into Dan, Chip, and last pick will be... Extra hovering all over the place. Thinking. There's the Ken. Alright, we have 3 season 3s here, season 6 and 2 season 7. Or 1 season 5 and 2 season 7s. So I'm kind of curious how this is going to end up. If we end up seeing the Ryu Ken matchup, which we've seen before, I would be pretty interested in seeing that. The Street Fighter, the season 3 matchups are pretty interesting to see against each other, in my opinion. Just seeing how they manage their gauge and their criticals against their ultras and stuff like that. And we're getting into selection now. Here's the selection bag from Extra, and then we'll see the selection bag from Polter here in a second. Alright, here we are. We have Ken versus May. Both characters like to blow the other one up very fast and very hard. So this is going to be a battle of power. Who is going to come out on top with the better power? Because Ryu, as opposed to Ken, has a lot of guard and stuff on his moves. Ken does have some guard, but the problem is with Ken's guard here is that without those EXs, they are going to be susceptible to May just kind of blowing them up. Now, Ken does have, yeah, so Ken has pretty much, you know, they are the other side of Ryu. Ryu has these slower moves. They also have the faster Hadoken. They have heavier guard and stuff like that. Whereas Ken has more of these heavy hitting moves. So what we're gonna see here is we're gonna see both powerhouses start to close in on each other and see which one dies first in the flurry of flames that we're about to see pop off. And I'm pretty excited for this. And if you don't know May, May does have to be careful about playing the Tatsugeki here. Just because we could see something like the critical knee bash come out from after the Tatsugeki is played, stuff like that. From some of these guarded options, you know. Tatsugeki is not the safest thing in the world. Tatsugeki can be countered by stuff like Spike if you don't UA it. It can be countered by stuff like Gurin Senpukyaku without UA, knee bash without UA and critical, you know, stuff like this. So we do have to be kind of careful of playing the Tatsugeki without the UA. We can't just play it all willy-nilly here, but we can definitely play a lot of these things kind of more willy-nilly. Of course, we do still have to be mindful that we're not just going too crazy, because we do still want to get the strikes off. Alright, here we are. Ken prep. Disaster of Passion. Alright, we're starting off strong. +1 speed, +1 power on the side of May. Range 3 for Ken and May. Here comes the True Master. Oh, good God. That is a boost. Now the question is, does May have a parry here for this? Yep, there's the tech. Ukemi comes out, gets rid of the True Master. That is something that makes a lot of sense to me. I do not want to see that early. +2 power, +2 speed is pretty insane. +1 speed, now draw a card. Burning Passion, just matching the speed here, though. May does have the advantage in power. At this range, I mean, what are we going to see here from the Ken? I mean, we're not seeing Axe Kick. Tatsumaki's not too crazy. You know, some of these options with this +1 speed is May. I don't think I'm too worried about here. The main thing I'm worried about with May here is just kind of making sure that I get a decent strike off, because I want to start building that gauge so I can exceed and then start hitting Ken with that +2 power, because that's where we really shine. Ken on the other side here just kind of wants to play the game and, you know, not lose it. Alright, here we go. Here comes the first strike of the game. +1 speed, +1 speed. Speeds are even, and +1 power on the side of May. So we're going to have to see how Ken wants to deal with this. They do have a Shoryuken down. Shoryuken doesn't really matter too much here because, you know, it is a +1. It does have that 4 guard if the other Shoryuken does get played. We're going to see the dive here into the Assault. Alright, May's generated that first gauge. We're at range 1 now. Advantage on May. 30 to 25. What is May going to play here? May has the range 1. We could just see them boost some stuff. We could see boost cancels. I highly doubt we'll see too many cancels, though, if we're playing for that Exceed May. If we decide not to play for the Exceed May, I could definitely see a world in which we just kind of start playing Season 7, canceling, getting stuff out on the field. So we're either going to probably boost here and leave it raw, or we're going to keep striking. It looks like we're not using UA. We're just raw striking here. Here comes the Tatsumaki Senpukyaku. Into the Anchor Swing, which this will perform extremely well into the Anchor Swing. That is very unfortunate for May, using a strike for the Anchor Swing, getting Tatsumaki'd. But it does make sense to see that Tatsumaki come out. That was a good call-out, making sure this isn't like a sweep or anything. Here comes the Overpower, +1 power, now strike, range 2. We're going to Wild Swing into the focus from the Assault. This is 5 power Assault, take 3, and then take 4. May will draw a card, May generates that second gauge. Now, the Ken Exceed... Yeah, the Ken Exceed line is a pretty good line in my opinion. I think it's pretty solid, just being able to close one and then draw a card and strike. It does keep up that pretty good card advantage, kind of recycles your cards for the ones you're playing, unless you start playing EXs and boosts and using them fast. But if you are just planning on going for like a raw strike line, you can just go ahead and Exceed as Ken and just kind of start pressuring. We are going to go ahead and parry Axe Kick. There is no Axe Kicking hand. So we have Hadoken, Gurin, Shinryu, Tatsumaki, block, and block. Here comes the other Gurin, True Master, played. We're going to see the Relentless played, +1 power, +4 guard, into that +2/+2. 2 gauge means we're not seeing either the gauge options get played. We could see the Tatsumaki Senpukyaku get played just because it is +2 speed. That is a 5 speed Tatsumaki. If we do expect that, I would say let's go ahead and get that cross out here. But this could be something like an unbeatable grasp as well. So we're just going to go ahead and grasp this. Ooh, it's a sweep. 4, 5 power. Okay, send them flying. This is 8 power sweep. That's not the worst trade in the world. We're not too happy about that. Yep, we are at 15 health because it is only 7 power from that 1 armor. Makes sense. We are at that 3 gauge for May now. So as May, we can go ahead and look to Exceed. The main thing here is if we do look to Exceed, we don't need the 4th gauge to Exceed like we would on something like Soul. So we just kind of are happy if we do Exceed here. We do just need something that allows us to go ahead and play the game from here. This could be, honestly, like, if we have an Assault or a... Okay, we're just going to Gatling here. That makes sense. Probably looking for, like, Tatsugeki or Assault or something, because, you know, both perform pretty well at this range, in my opinion, at least. Now we're at range 2. Range 2 is a little bit more awkward for this. So, the kind of lines I'm looking for here is we're worried about getting crossed out of whatever we want to try and do here without that +1 speed. And if we do try to boost anything for +1 speed before, we're not going to be able to Exceed. I'm thinking here as Ken, we're probably just looking for a cross out line from whatever this could potentially be. I mean, most of the things this cross out is going to work out against May. We're gonna actually EX something here. Okay, sure. Now the question is, we have to debate whether this is something that beats cross or not, because if it doesn't beat cross, then we need to be able to play something that yeah, if this isn't something that beats cross, then we want to play cross. If this is something that beats cross, then we're a little bit worried here. We're gonna wild swing this. It's gonna be a spike into the knee bash. Knee bash will lose terribly here. This is a 6 power with advantage. That's gotta hurt. So we got to think here what we want to do with this advantage, because we could go ahead and Exceed here, but we could Exceed and then the Exceed could just go terribly because we could end up getting crossed out of. Like that is the main concern here. Of course, we could always bait the cross with something like Arasakawa Sparkle. It's not the worst option in the world, you know? Oh, are we going to go for it? We are. Right, here we are, Exceed line. Exceed is online. Striking with something. Thinking what? EX Tatsugeki? Question mark? Can we do it? Spending dive. UA. UA dive +2 power. Now, the thing that I'm concerned of here is, like I said, as I was talking about this entire time, it's the cross. Because we could bait it out, because the cross is kind of going to determine if this works or not. Here comes a spike into the anchor swing. Wow. I'm actually surprised the spike was played here. That is a really hard call out. +2 power. Because Spike doesn't even perform well into Arasakawa +2 power, so I'm actually really surprised to see that. But it worked out, so we'll go ahead and roll with it. We're on CC5, getting rid of both of the Great Yamadas makes sense. I mean, it just makes a ton of sense here. We're going to parry probably like Tatsugeki or something. Now we're parrying the block. I mean, it is 10 to 10, so this does make a lot of sense. That spike on defense. That's wild to me. So many options I could lose to. And here we are. Quick attack, +1 speed, now strike. EX. What do we got? EX Shinryuken? Gotta be, right? 8 speed. Yeah, 8 speed. 11, 12 power Shinryuken. Yeah, this has to be a 12 power Shinryuken. I don't know if we have the other block. No, because we parried Axe Kick earlier. We do not have the other block. I'm pretty sure Polter's about to lose here. Lose this match actually right here. Yep. Shinryuken will take it. That was a very good play to close that out, because even Arasakawa Sparkle without EX, it doesn't survive. Very good play to play or carry it out by Ken. Ken will be knocked out as they are the winner. May is still in if they choose to play May again. So we'll have to see how Polter goes ahead and adjust to this. On the side of Extra, we still do have Chip, and we still do have Dan. So we'll have to see what Extra goes ahead and picks here first, and then we'll go ahead and decide what we want to play as Polter, because we do have Ryu, we do have New, and we do have May. Of course, each having their differences into Chip and Dan separately. I'm curious. Oh, we're going to see the Dan actually come out. See, I almost thought we were going to see the Chip come out here, because Chip feels like a, pretty solid solid character. It always feels like a kind of uphill battle to play against. Of course, he's not uncounterable. It's just that he's kind of hard to maneuver around from time to time. Now we have to think here what we want to play, because we could play the May again, or we could see the Ryu or the New come out. Looks like we might pull out the Ryu. It's movie Ryu. Let's go. Oh, that's what I'm here for. All right. So now we have Dan versus Ryu, right? Season 3 matchup. Ryu being kind of like the staple, the staple Street Fighter character. Everybody knows Ryu. Everybody's played Ryu. Ryu in this game is kind of an all-arounder like you'd expect. They have a lot of good boosts. They just kind of boost things. They have a lot of good, just standardly good cards that all accomplish different things. So we'll have to see how we kind of navigate around this. We're going to back up one, and it looks like we might look for that. Looks like we're backing up one. I mean, we are dodging the Danku Kyaku by doing this. Actually, no, we're not. We're not quite out of the Danku Kyaku yet. But our Hadoken is faster than the Godoken, and it's also longer range. So if Dan does allow us to, then we could definitely see a Hado loop here, just because Dan doesn't have much of a way to deal with the Hado loop. The main way they have to deal with it is Legendary Taunt. So we're just going to go ahead and close, or spend 2 cards, close 2. Sure. Spending 2 cards, closing 2, going to range 3, resetting health, making sure it's all spicy and back to normal. Range 3, both characters. I mean, we're in corner now. I think Danku misses if it crosses over. Yep. Danku does miss if he crosses over. So we won't see Danku here, because it will miss every time. We're going to Assault here into the sweep. Take 4 for 6. Sweep a down card. Got a dive. Alright. Kind of hanging out. We're just going to prep his Dan. Ryu's is a move 1 action, so they can choose to move out of the corner if they want here. The main thing to be concerned about when you're in the corner with Dan, of course, is stuff like sweep. We don't really have a lot of things that break sweep. The main thing we have to beat sweep is 1-inch punch. We're just going to strike here. Focus. Donkey kick. Both players will take 4. We will gain advantage on Ryu. Both players chilling out 22 to 20. This isn't terrible health difference. Move out of the corner with Ryu makes sense. Dan might be looking to prep again. We're not seeing a whole lot of Dan stuff come out yet. Dan is sitting on a full hand. You obviously don't have to play the Wild Swing Dan if you don't want to. It's not like Dan is short on cards that he can play outside of it. So the main thing is that that's kind of like the line you think of when you think of Dan, just +1 power, +1 speed. So we'll kind of have to see what Ryu wants to do here in regards to this. It looks like we are going to see, look at the top card of your deck, strike if you do not add it to your gauge. It's just a block. We're adding free block to our gauge. We get our 3rd gauge here. Curious if we're going to see a Other side down. I don't know if we'll see Exceed down today. We're just gonna Raw Dog Strike here as real. We're gonna see the leg taunt come out into the cross. Good cross call out. Very good cross call out by Extra here. I really like to see stuff like that. That leg taunt was very, very good call out there. The other thing to note about leg taunt here is leg taunt does actually beat out spike and speed, which is pretty crazy to me too. Here comes the focus into the assault. Take 2 for 4. Life totals are even again. Alright. Psycho Glory. Your attacks are critical. Infinitely. A little bit kind of scary for Ryu here, because +1 power, +1 speed on pretty much everything until Dan is stunned is pretty scary, not gonna lie. Here, if we do decide to go out for something like a cross out again, we do have to worry about, like, faster cross, faster grasp, faster just kind of all this stuff. What do we have here? I don't think Dan actually has anything. Actually, we do have to be careful of Shishu Buraiken. Oh. We just had a disconnect from Extra. We'll have to go ahead and wait for them to get back into the lobby. Looks like Polter's playing a focus into the response of whatever this card may be. So we'll go ahead and wait for Extra to get back in the lobby here, and then we'll go ahead and flip. Extra is back. Grasp into the focus will perform well. Retreat 4 on assault. Now, here's, let's see. We're at range 5, which means Howl Godoken doesn't work. Range 1 to 4. It doesn't work. It does dodge. Move 3, then add a card from my hand to gauge. Okay. Danku. Low on cards from Dan. We saw both sweeps come out. No, we saw one sweep come out. One sweep, one focus. Discarding Hadoken, getting Way the Warrior into play. Alright, now we have that +2 power, +2 speed. That is something we do have to worry about here as Dan. Something like EX Spike will perform extremely well here. Oh, I see. It's only his Wild Swing, so that Psyche Glory only works on Wild Swing still. I understand. There's the other sweep come out. +2 speed to match this +2 speed. Which means we're sitting even for +2 speed. The main thing we have to worry about here is, let's see, probably the other leg taunt is the main thing we're worried about here. We're going to come into range 1. Notably, this is a little bit interesting. I'm kind of confused. I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing... Actually, well, we still have plenty of cards in deck. So it's very possible that we haven't drawn what we're looking for yet. Alright, here we are. +2 speed, +2 power. Cross into Tatsumaki. 7 power. No advantage. That's a lot of gauge, though. The main problem we're getting here is we're not able to really spend this gauge on either side. We're having a lot of trouble figuring out how to spend this gauge. But I guess actually that range 2 makes sense because now we're not getting threatened getting hit by a Gao Hadoken. Or Gadoken, Hao Gadoken. I mean, the main way to dodge Hao Gadoken right now is by playing cross, but if we get caught up on another leg taunt, then this could just be a leg taunt into something like Shishiburaiken, which will pretty much decimate us. Okay, Polter thinking here. We're going to see the Raw Strike come out here. Raw Strike at range 2 is threatening something like, or it does make something like Hao Gadoken very viable. Main scare of playing Hao Gadoken right here is, you know, getting crossed out of. So this is in itself a mix-up, right? Because if we play the Leg Taunt, actually Leg Taunt's pretty safe into both options here. Question is, what is Leg Taunt not safe into? Because we have 5 gauge Leg Taunt, or 5 gauge Leg Taunt. EX Spike into Donkey Kick. That will do it. Yep, there's all the ults. Wow, I'm still surprised we went for the EX that thing. I'm so surprised we didn't just play the Leg Taunt. Wow. Like, I think Leg Taunt Hao Gadoken there just performs extremely well with 5 gauge, right? Alright. So now we have to think about between Mei and New. Here's the thing, right? Mei and New. I don't like either into Chip, to be honest, personally. I'm not sure which one you play here into Chip. I think Ryu was probably your best bet into Chip, but Ryu's kind of gone now. Mostly just because Tatsumaki's performs pretty well into Chip. This is just kind of like an annoyance here. So if we play Mei... Okay, we are going to play Mei here. So Mei is super volatile. So that means Chip... If we see Chip come out here, Mei could just end up blowing up Chip. Chip could also just outmaneuver Mei the entire time. It looks like we're seeing Dan again. We're getting 2 games of Dan. Man, I really hope... I haven't seen Rose in chat, but I'm going to have to like send her this game afterwards. Oh, man. 2 games of Dan. What a treat. I see. There you go. Alrighty, here we are. Game 3. Game 3, everybody. We're on game 3 here. Starting off with a strike as a Dan. Range 4. This is obviously a mix-up. Could be Dive, could be Godoken, or it could be Danku. It's Godoken. With Godoken on top of the deck, we do have to kind of consider here what we want to play, because if Danku is in hit... Oh, here we are. Blue water, blue sky. Going to range 2 to kind of contest that Godoken. Say, hey, if you play that Godoken again. Alright, looks like we just handed over the reference to extra for the May cards. Makes sense. Alrighty. Godokin is the known card in hand. We just prepped his down. Alright, what do we want to do here as May? We don't have to worry about about Danku anymore. We'll see the Disaster of Passion. That's already +2 power. Here comes the Retreat 4. Makes sense to me. Pretty sure we just see what if we have EX Tatsugeki, I could see that. If we have EX Dive gets beaten out by Don. Actually, it doesn't get beaten out by Danku unless it's a EX Danku. Yeah, we kind of have to think about what we want to play here as May, because this game can go pretty explosive. So we don't want to, really don't want to lose a lot of strikes on either side, just because of how explosive this game can kind of turn into with these characters. We're going to see the +1 power boosted on the block, I think, into a raw strike. Yeah, this is +3 power. Yeah, this is Tatsugeki. This is a crazy Tatsugeki. 6 speed, +3 power Tatsugeki is pretty bonkers. Now the question is, what do we do here as Dan? We could go for the crazy line, which is, hope for Danku on top of deck. Here comes the Danku into the 6-speed Tatsugeki, 7 damage. And that's what I meant by explosive, because 7 damage is not anything to scoff at. That's over a fifth of Dan's HP gun. Gives advantage to May. May has corner now, and this is scary. Dan doesn't really have anything that breaks stuff, right? That's the main thing here. Dan does have a way out in the form of other Danku. Oh, looks like we're just gonna prep here. If I'm Dan, I want to get out of this corner immediately. We're gonna boost Psyche though, or Psycho. Interesting. We're saying pretty much by boosting Psycho here, we're saying as Dan, we're gonna fight this, which I think is pretty insane because if we have something like the other Anchor Swing in play, that's pretty scary. Not gonna lie. Sweep even, stuff like that. Like unless Dan is telegraphing that they're just ready to dive over whatever we play. If we play a slow here and we hit, this could be a bajillion damage. We're not playing anything here. We're not boosting speed. So we're just gonna crit here with a block into the sweep. 7 power into there. Get rid of the ultra. Ooh, this is kinda not great. Take 1. I mean, this is fine. May doesn't care about this. We just got ourselves 2 gauge. We're sitting at 3 gauge now. We didn't get stunned, so Psycho stays in play. This isn't it's not the best thing to sweep into. If May exceeds here with another slow though, that's the scary part. Because we kind of have to take the guess, is will May play Exceed and just play another slow? Because if they play another slow and then we don't dive over it, we get hit for 1,000,000 damage and then we're really depressed. Alright, time for the guessing game. Guess wrong and you win 1,000,000 points of red on your bar. Do we have anything on site for down? We have leg taunt. 2 power EX. Assault into EX cross. 6 power cross. Now this is a May life lead. Whew. Dan will take another prep action here. All right. What you got in that suitcase, May? Yeah, your 1,000 kilogram hammer or anchor. What else do you got? Up 13 of life. That's a crazy amount of life to, or that's a pretty good amount of life to be up there. Yeah, May's kind of got to think here because they could look to strike. Main thing they have to think about if they look to strike here is stuff like die, stuff like Godoken. We're just going to prep here as May though. Make sure that we have cards. Give the turn back over to Dan. Say, hey Dan, come at me. Dan of course does have stuff like Leg Taunt if they really want. May doesn't have no longer has crosses to get out of Leg Taunt. But I mean, Leg Taunt's not like crazy at that range anyways. I mean, it's just kind of like it's a thing, you know. We're gonna use +2 speed. I don't remember if we got to see the Godoken go to discard or not, but if we didn't, we're telegraphing Godoken pretty hard here. Because, I mean, May doesn't really have a way to deal with Godoken anyways. Accuracy only closes. Well, I guess actually they do. They have Arasagawa if they really think that it's coming out. So I guess actually Godoken is not the safest thing in the world. Arasagawa actually performs pretty well in general. Yeah, it's a pretty decent card. I don't think Arasagawa cares too much about what you're playing. It just is. Although, as Dan, we're kind of sitting on some free damage here. If we did decide to want to play like some super speed leg taunt or something. We're just gonna blue water, blue sky out. Makes sense. Make Dan telegraph pretty hard what they're gonna play. Make sure there's not really a mix-up. This is either does anything actually perform here for Dan? I think about it. Nothing actually does perform here for Dan. No, nothing performs here for either player actually. All right, we're just kind of chilling. If we have the block as like May, we could look to play the block just to get rid of the speed. Poor man's tech. We could just also look for dive to tech it normally. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. Alrighty, May just kind of taking a second to think here. Makes sense. I mean, we don't really need to rush into anything. We're just going to take the strike here. It's the Arasagawa into the leg taunt. Alright, we're just coming in and spiking then? Yep, there we go. Seems pretty reasonable to me. You have +2 speed. You know, might as well just spike it. Alright, that's a leg taunt down. Notable thing here is Danku doesn't really stop anything. I don't believe we've seen an assault come out from Dan yet, so if they are hanging on to something like EX Assault, we could be a little bit scared to play some things. Dan's definitely not out of it. We're not that low of a life yet, where May can just kill us in one hit. Dan kind of taking a second to think here what they want to play. They're just going to prep. May I mean, May still has the life lead. She can play comfortably. She just doesn't want to play too comfortably, because if she plays too comfortably, Dan can make a comeback pretty easily. So you still got to kind of think here about what you want to play. We're +2 powering something, actually. +2 power EX. Now, this is interesting. What is this? Dolphin? Could be Dolphin, could be Kiss. It can't be Kiss. Is this just Dolphin? The unfortunate part about Dolphin is that thing. I mean, is this dive? This is dive. We just cross out of it, right? It is dive. That's 8 power dive. Ew. $15-9. Yeah, that's 6. Ew. Hey, yucky ducky dive. I like that. Alright, +2 power on the table. I mean, Dan's pretty much thinking they have to do something, right? I mean, Lake Taunt kind of allows them to play whatever they want. Because May doesn't actually, yeah, because May is, even their overhead kiss, they would need EX, and they'd need a initiate with EX overhead kiss, which is pretty telegraphed at this point, other than Dolphin. Main thing is, though, that either the EXs can actually break Lake Taunt, so Lake Taunt's a little bit scary to be played here. Range 1, we're going to boost overhead kiss, though. Makes sense. Get a full hand, get an almost full hand again. Tech the advantage. Yeah, I think that's appropriate, especially at this life difference. Now the question is, what do we want to do? Oh, we're just going to boost the other one. Alright, what kind of disgusting stuff do we have up our sleeve today? Strike. Here we go. What could this be? So we don't want to blow our resources yet. If we guess this wrong and it just ends up being like a cross or something, we're pretty sad. I mean, we could afford to play something like a Grasp here with this life differential. We're going to play the block and whatever this is. It's just a 5 power cross. That's fine. We'll take 3. We get another gauge. Main thing we're losing to here is Danku. If we... Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, I see what you're talking about now. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. Hey Feathers, I think I fixed it. You'll see it in a second. It's extra playing Dan, by the way. Let me know if that fix comes in for you. Huh. Alright. Alright, we see the EX strike, +2 power. This is scary. Incredibly scary, actually. Block the Tatsugeki, makes sense. This is 7 power Tatsugeki. Danku no longer hits here. Does May have the assault? Oh boy. Yeah, this is looking rough. Okay, taking 0. Alright, perfect. Thank you, Feathers. Yeah, this is looking pretty rough here, actually. Yeah. Question becomes, do we have EX Assault on the side of Extra, and do we have Assault on the side of May? Plus 2 power Assault is even pretty crazy here, actually. I mean, we do have enough gauge for Leg Taunt as Dan. I mean, we're still getting damage off his May if we play the Assault. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of frightened here for Dan, because I'm pretty sure that was the second block. We're gonna boost the +1 speed. We're gonna close 1. Dolphin. Cancel. Discard hand, draw 4 strike. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Alright. We got a party here. Psycho doesn't even hit here. Danku doesn't hit here. Koryukin doesn't hit. Actually, Koryukin does, but I'm pretty sure we just saw both Koryukins go down. Alright, what do we got in our bag of tricks for May? Almost certainly +2 power. Maybe? We're gonna +2 power here, potentially run out of gas? No? Raw? Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, we gotta think here, Dan. We gotta think here pretty hard, actually. Do we crit Wild Swing? Do we play one of the 3 cards in hand? We haven't seen Dan crit Wild Swing in either of these games, actually. Is now the time? Are we confident in our deck? Our last 8 cards? I mean, 6 speed, or +1 speed on May, whatever this could be. It's pretty scary. Alright, now's the time to show us your move, Dan. What do you got? EX? I think I saw a selection for an EX. Do we have EX in hand? I saw a card shuffle around. No, +2 power. Okay. EX Kadoken into 6 speed slash. I don't think that was the play. Do we have leg taunt? What are we saving? What did we save? Our last card in hand. I mean, Giso, Oshiso, and Howl are both free now. Whew. Tinju. Oh yeah, Chica. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. A decent in trying to cover the spike. But that was the interesting thing is if we were spiking there, I'm pretty sure we'd be sure of it. I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess EX Kadoken. I was just almost certain we are going to see the assault regardless. I mean, 9 health down. Huh. What are we doing with this advantage though? We only have 1 card in hand as Dan, so even if we leg taunt here, if we just if something gets played like a sweep or something. +4 guard, cancel? +2 power? Discards the slash? Hello? What is this? What is this? Other dolphin? One dolphin's down. It's not Sparkle. I don't think they've been keeping track of cards. Yeah, I think, is this just second Mr. Dolphin? I mean, that's a pretty good second Mr. Dolphin if it is, let me tell you. Holy God. Was +4 guard? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Dan has anything that beats +4 Godolphin, actually. Shizu? Do they have the other Shizu? That's what beat it, right? The Shizu? Yeah. Crit leg taunt? True! Crit leg taunt. You know, we actually haven't seen a single crit wild swing from Dan both games, actually. Actually, no, we saw it once with the Psycho Glory boosted. That's it. Alright, here we are. Leg taunt, no crit. Dolphin. GG's. Whew! That was a showing. Congrats to Polter. They took the game 2-1, winning both the... Yep, taking it 2-1 over Extra. This is a great showing by Polter here. That first game, Extra took pretty well. Second game, brought it back. Polter brought it back on Ryu. Third game, dominating his May. Whew! That was crazy good as May. Alrighty. Well, GG's to both players. Thank you all for showing up to the stream, and I hope you all have a great one. Thanks for tuning in, Just Grass. We'll be back with you tomorrow. At 6 a.m., by the way. Alright, have a good night, folks.